Well, got the exhaust today. Haven't had a chance to open it yet. And got my cold air intake. Just ordered that yesterday. That's insane that it's sitting in my garage right now. Don't know how it got here so fast, but I didn't pay for any extra shipping or anything, but I'm gonna get to putting that damn thing on here shortly. Give me something to do while I'm sitting at home not doing nothing. I'll throw up at the front part of the video the dude dropping it off. That's my my UPS driver. Dude's pretty cool. He always walks down my driveway because he can't back his big ass truck up the driveway, so he always ends up walking. You never know how hard it is to unbox a box with one hand until you try to do it. So I should have everything I need, man. There's the lid and the seal. There's the refill filter. And that's a big ass filter. Big ass filter. There's the filter. The ring. Oh, there's an AK. Well, AR 762. There's a block out door. There's a seal for the intake on the front. And there's the box. There's the elbow that goes down to the turbo. Comes up into the box. And I'm freaking, I was gonna say I don't have any hardware. All right, there's a hardware kit there. And it looks like everything I need was in there. Cool. So, yeah, this thing ain't that bad. I'm not gonna pull that box out of there right now. It's kind of dark over here, but let me see if I can shine some light on the situation. To get started on this, I kind of went through all this. Ooh, that's kind of blinding it out a little bit. So basically, you get all these push pins in this front shroud here. So all this is going to come out. That elbow there is going to come out. The box, this line here, going down to the turbo. So the first thing is to get this top piece pulled off. And it's just all these, wow, that flashlight is like overbearing. Here, let me dim it a little bit. There we go. So all these push pins, there's like 12 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 up front. And then you got the 2 in the back. So you got one there, and then one over there on the other side that's got to pop out. So once you pop that out, that's going to open all this up. Then you can pop your sensors out. So you got a mass airflow sensor and a temp sensor here. These two are going to have to come out. They'll go on the other elbow. And get the harness down here pulled out of the way because it's actually hooked to the old box. So use your puller and pop that off. And there's 2 bolts underneath this that hold this piece down. There's 2 bolts there. I think they're 10 mils. Pull those off, and this whole section, once you get this off, will lift out at once. And then you can set your new box up to set it in place. So should be fairly easy. Shouldn't take long at all. And I'll get some more light shined on the situation here. And we'll get rocking on this thing. I'll show you guys what it takes to throw this in. Shouldn't be anything at all. We got more parts coming from this for this side over here as well. And that's the stuff that I'm going to be waiting on for a while. So I don't know. We'll have to see what the delivery is. And then the exhaust. And after that, I'm going to be looking for my tuner and to get some good tunes. I think I'm going to do the shift on the fly stuff. Get the DP5 or DSP5 or whatever the hell it is switch to put in it. But yeah, coming along good. Let me get some light shined down over here, get a couple of my work lights put in place, and we'll start pulling this thing apart. And I'll show you guys what it looks like. I'll get this cover pulled off because all it is push pins. And I'll grab one of my peeps to come out and maybe shoot the camera for me. So, all right, I'll be back in a second. All right, guys, so I got the top cover off here. It's just all those push pins, like I said. They kind of go along the side. And then there's two in the back here that you got to get. Easy enough to pop those out. And then this here, there's two bolts in this, like I said. So there's one on each side, and it holds this whole ram duct thing on in the front. The box itself is just slid on post with rubber here. So basically, there's a turbo back there. This comes off. There's just two clamps that you got to loosen up there, and you can pop that elbow right off. And then this whole piece is going to lift out of place all at once. So let me hand the camera off here, and I'll pull this thing out and show you guys. Oh, one more thing. Let me show you real quick. Here's the sensors that you're going to need in the harness that I pulled off. So these are those new plugs. This one's pretty standard. You just push down on it, slide it off. All right, mass airflow sensor. And then your temp sensor is, I don't even know why they did these, but it's a locking mechanism there. So that gray piece actually pushes down to lock it in place. So you got to pop that gray piece up. I just use a small pick, and I'll pop it up, and then you can squeeze this down and that'll come off. But these will have to come out of this box and go into the new elbow when we put it on. And that's basically all I've pulled apart. So you can see here a handful of push pins and a couple bolts. There is a bracing rods here. They don't tell you that you need to take these off, but you got one that goes that way. And one that goes up here this way, like this. And two 13mm bolts, two 13mm bolts. I popped those off just to open this area up. Otherwise, this side, this little corner piece here gets stuck underneath that brace there and kind of makes it a pain in the butt to pull up. But a couple of bolts and you can pull it out and have it completely out of your way. It's taken me about 15 minutes to get to this point now. So this whole box just lifts up and comes completely out here. And then we can set it on the floor. So this will go back in the truck. That's the elbow piece that we get with this new box. This is the box that goes back in. This is the mounting points. We'll have to get this stuff all figured out and set up. I haven't even started putting this stuff together yet. But that'll be the box that drops back in. And it will connect to that top piece there, just like that, right? So this will go back into this ducting here. From what I've seen, they say it's better to put it all back in as one piece, but I'll figure that out once I get all these pieces put together and get ready to drop it back in place. So give me a few minutes, let me get this figured out, and then I'll show you guys how to throw it back in the truck. I kind of lost my cameraman here, so this has been kind of hard, but I got the sensors pulled out of here, put in the pipe over there. That's no big deal. Actually, I have this other grommet. So there's 3 grommets. This is the bottom of the intake box that I took out. I had to pull this one off. That one got stuck over there, but that's where it mounts at. 1, 2, 3. So the new box is the same way. Put the grommets in the bottom of it, and it sits right on the post over here. So I don't know, when you watch their directions on how to put this all in, they tell you to bolt it all together and put it together all as one piece. I didn't do that. It's easier to do piece by piece. So I slid this down on the turbo down there and kind of loosely put those clamps on. And then I slid the box down in so I could get the post. Here's that top one. It just slides down on there. The two other ones are in the bottom. You probably can't see down there, maybe. Yep, you can kind of see that one right there. And then there's one underneath the filter there. And then I pop this in, the back of it, and tighten that clamp up. And then I tighten that clamp up. That way I knew the elbow was in place. And then I grab this piece and do it on top. So there's a piece of rubber in between here now because it doesn't clamp together. It just holds together with the big rubber seal. And I got the two 10 mil started here. So you got one on either side. So basically, where's the other one? There's the other one right there. Basically tighten this back down, put the lid back on, or put the lid on it, I should say. Put the cover back up top here with all the push pins, and put my bars back in, and it's pretty much done. It's pretty much in right now. I just need to snug it up. And the biggest pain in the ass was this right here. So I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. The newer covers, I'm gonna clean this thing before I put it in, but they don't bolt in. So on my old truck, the cover laid up there and kind of bolted all the way around. This one just pops into this rubber and you gotta push it down into place. So that's what it's gonna look like there. But I'm gonna clean that window because you got my dirty, grimy fingerprints all over it while I was putting the rubber on there. But that sucked trying to squeeze that rubber piece around there. It's gonna be a nice tight fit. So all in all, probably took me about 40 minutes to pull everything apart and slap this all back together. It wasn't that big of a deal at all. It took me a lot longer to do my 2018 because you got to pull the inner fender liner out and everything on the passenger side because it's bolted to the bottom of it. And see if you can see through there. There you go. So everything's nice and tight, nice tight seal on everything so far. No cracks or no light I can see shining through. So everything's pretty tight. It should work pretty good. All right, I'm gonna get these last pieces slapped on and then we'll fire this thing up. Oh, one other thing is they provide, and all S&B boxes generally do this, an extra, so technically this piece of rubber right here, you can pop it out at any time or pop it back in. So that's supposed to allow extra airflow to come in if you want it, with it still being kind of nasty outside. I opted to throw it in there. Gives you a way different sound. May be able to hear the turbo a little bit more with that out because it kind of opens it up. But I'm going to drive around with it in there first. And then when it starts to get a little nicer outside, I'll pop it out and go from there. But it just pops in and out. It's a nice tight rubber seal there. So, all right, let me finish getting this thing cleaned up and put back together. And then we'll go from there. Maybe I'll get you guys set up here while I put that other cover back on. Pretty easy to do though, pretty easy to do. As you can see, I'm working in a pretty cramped spot here. My truck barely fits in the garage. It's pretty much touching the back wall right now, so I'm just glad it fits in here. Once I lift it, it won't fit anymore, but all right, that's it for now. Let me get these 10 mils tightened down, or actually they're 11 mils. Tighten down, and then we'll throw this top cover back on, fire this thing up and see what it sounds like. Back together here. Oh, I'm just throwing like all kinds of shadows here. It's freaking pouring outside right now. So I ain't gonna start it just this second because I'm not gonna be able to open the garage door. But yeah, everything's back together. Here's what it looks like when it's in, the lid's on it. The elbow down to the turbo. All the connectors there connected, everything on the back side put back together. Yeah, all in all, not bad. So let's see what kind of difference we get. This thing should be flowing a lot more air through it for sure. So as soon as I get a minute here where it ain't pouring outside, I'll get this door open and we'll fire this thing up and see what it sounds like. And then I'll check back in after I run it for a little bit and let y'all know if it's worth the, I think it was 329 bucks or 330 bucks or something like that, that they're going for. So, all right, it's all back together. Just waiting to start it up, and don't want to smoke my garage out. So I'm gonna wait till this rain slows down a little bit. There she is. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Definitely looks a hell of a lot better underneath the hood than the stock one, that's for sure. Aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. All right, sweet. This thing has been, make sure my key's in there, it is. It has been shut down for a couple weeks, days. Just let my preheat go through. And then, all right. Make sure we don't get any check engine lights or anything. I don't see any. Or at least none that are supposed to be there. I think I'm gonna be all right. Sure, I can't feel any air getting sucked through here. Shit, I think we're good. Awesome. All right. Just gonna kick up the idle here in a minute. All right, I'm gonna get this hood shut down and let this thing warm up for a little bit. Make sure no lights or anything come on. And then when I go for the first test drive, I'll take y'all with me. All right. No lights yet. All right, cool. All right, let me get this hook. All right, guys, that's all wrapped up. It's like pouring outside again now, and it's actually pretty late. It's after 8, so I'm just gonna shut it down for tonight and call that good. So yeah, she's all installed. She ran for a while, warmed up, no messages, no nothing like that. So I'm pretty happy. Probably about 45 minutes it took me to install it, and I'm gonna shut her down for tonight. So I'm gonna end this here. When I go out for the first test drive, I'll get a video of that and then post it for you guys. I'm not expecting any huge differences or anything, but should flow air a little bit better now. So I'm gonna end that there, and I'll see y'all later.